cardiologists and the cardiothoracic surgeons, our other specialists, but also, and I guess I shouldn't say old doctors, the doctor who retired, a warm welcome to you. Dr. Spammer showed me this is that doctor, this one, that. Thank you so much for that, yes, but a warm welcome, especially the people who travelled, and we really appreciate. It's 30 years later. So that's from my side, and then my management team, the nurses, all of you, thank you so much that you're here. From my side, only two things before I give over to Dr. Vogts. Perhaps two things I thought you can just as well share it with the doctors and staff. We will, the ward U and B, we will split in a month's time again into two different wards. So I think that's long overdue. And then secondly, the place where we currently stand, this area we will redo this area in next year. The bigger, I call it the redo of the total complex. We're in the very final phases. We did start in the building. I think many of you saw that outside, the same story. But we're close to, I would say, a 5-year to redo the whole complex. That's it. Enough from my side.
Dames en heren, dit is 'n baie groot dag vandag in die lewe van Panorama se hart, long en vasculaire eenheid. 30 jaar is werklik 'n betekenisvolle mylpaal. En ek is baie bevoorreg om 'n paar woorde te kan praat namens ons almal. So, in the tradition of Panorama, I'll switch over to our official language. Ek het dus baie gewerk in Engels, maar ek
That's the excuse.
Now, to establish a unit like this, you need a few things. The one is a vision. You also need a need. And you need total commitment for these two visions and needs to be accommodated for. Plus very hard work, and then a lot of courage. Courage not only from the doctor's point of view, to take a step into the unknown, but also from Mediclinic Corporation to invest in the doctors, put the finances on the table. Now, today we've got the unique opportunity by having, I think most probably the next union will be in 20 years time when we are 50, but today we have the most important founders of this unit here with us, the people who paved the way. And I think it's therefore appropriate for me to tell you a story about the history of cardiothoracic surgery in private practice in Cape Town. Because very few people know that. I grew up by being told this by the guys themselves. Now, if you go back to the history, in the 1970s and 1980s, cardiac surgery, thoracic surgery was all done in academic hospitals. There were no private practice. I think there was one surgeon, Dr. Mashat in Johannesburg, who did a bit of work. And then in the late 70s, in the 80s, nobody could correlate, check me. Dr. Demet Liver and Dr. Johannes so took the first steps to go into private practice, into the unknown. And they went and they paved the way for us to follow. And they were given, actually, very interesting enough, permission to do one open heart case per month.
Wow.
No idea how you survive financially on that. So they had to live on their thoracic work, and that's how they started out. There was no idea of funding, there was no idea of how the thing was going to work. But they had this vision of going into private practice. And then the founder of this unit, Dr. Johannes, had a vision of creating a cardiac unit in the northern suburbs. Aan die noorde kant van die boereworspartij. Die van die plaas is bang vir die stad en is bang vir die stadsverkeer. En Johannes het hulle gesê, as ons hier kan 'n hospitaal maak, sal dit werk. But it took a lot of different plans from Johannes' own side. He actually wanted to buy Karl Bremer Hospital at one stage, and at last, after many negotiations, he convinced Dr. Edwin Bux Herzog to build a unit. And with the work of Corey Lamberts, André Verjoen, Dr. Thomas Koorts, this hospital's heart unit was founded and built. And at last, at August 1994, this unit was established. I would like to take you now on a little tour of what happened at that stage. The first catheterization was done, I think, on the 8th or the 9th of August in 1994. The patient was done by the late Dr. Andre Simon, who was pivotal in starting here the cath lab. The patient's name was Mr. Van Dijk. It was evidently an emergency. They say that from very reliable sources that the wires were still hanging out of the roof. But they had a radio and a CD player, and the song that played while the first cath was done was Killing Me Softly. I hope that has got no effect on the future. I don't think it has. Now, the first open heart operation was done on today, 30 years ago, on the 22nd of August 1994. Now, it's my privilege now to introduce you to that team. Now, I feel like the announcer, I should perhaps change my voice to the announcer with Driekus' fight on Saturday. So, can I then ask the people to step forward, because that's important. The surgeon on my left, Dr. Leroy McGregor. I don't think he's here. He's intubating a patient, Dr. Rocco over here in his absence. The perfusionist, the late Johan Pietersen. The scrub sister, Sister Renette Cook. Where is she? Sister Magdalena Gersbach. Toss a coin to see who's going to scrub and who's going to do. I think Renette won the toss. The floor nurse, the anesthetist nurse was Estelle de Wet. And the sisters who took charge of the patient afterwards were Sister Marianne Savage and Brunel Pasha. There she is, and Maria Holzwolder. They took charge of this patient. So that was
And
how
Jackie.
the thing started. Now, to survive the next 30 years is a different game. And there are a few prerequisites to do this. We have to build a super hospital, a heart center with excellence, otherwise you don't survive. And I would like therefore to introduce you to the founders and the people who started here. On the cardiology side, number one was Dr. Andre Simon, followed by Dr. Murray, who we have the honor to be there with us. Then, founder of Dr. Roo, Dr. Jan de Plooy for his quick turn, Dr. Bodenstein, who is currently opening the center in Fiji today as we speak. Dr. Clive Corbett is on the golf course. Dr. Basson, who is in task between us and Durbanville. Dr. Zin Gopal, Dr. Peter Rousseau, Dr. Lou Hofmeyer, and Dr. Jess John. Those are the people. If I've left out someone, please don't kill me, but I think those are the current and the past cardiologists. From the cardiac surgery point of view, Dr. Johan Rousseau, Dr. Roy McGregor, Dr. David Libber, Dr. Jaap van Wyk, and now recently joined by Dr. Greg Martin, our new guy on the block.
And yourself.
Now, anesthetists. Now, we use a core of anesthetists because in cardiac thoracic surgery, you work very close with the anesthetists on a different level. Let me name a few of the old guys. Some of them never get older. Karel van der Merwe, is he here tonight?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, Karel. Dr. Etienne van Maat, especially imported now from I know it's very bad manners to make public your age, but let me tell you, he's got the best genes I have ever seen in my life. I was taught when I was a kid that for people older than you say oom. So I said Etienne, here Etienne daar. So I got his age about a few months later, and I went to apologize to him that I called him. Dr. Wilfred Heap, currently tidy, now looks better than ever before. I think he must come back to work. Here he is. Here. He's now really come, he's book barking, but he's not here. Cornelius van der Heijden is currently off sick. Heinz Modeler, working in economy class in Cape Town, but Gary Liu, Leonard de Preet, and Mr. Thomas Ton. Our confusionists, which are an integral part of the heart unit, is Johan Pieterse, who was in the first case, then followed by Anton Heidenrich, then by Trevor Abeskagni, Bart Trevor. It's not this one. And then by Julia Groenewald, and then by Benny Latergan. Important part, especially for the cardiologists, is the radiographers. A special mention to Dinky Pruis, Martha Hammond, and Charmaine Otto, who now together with Nandi and Marion and Sunay, they formed the security network for their cardiologists. Now with these people, we also have special technologists, everything cardiologists. We also have special physiotherapists. We have nephrologists. I've got to mention the name of Dr. Theo Otto, who is pivotal for most of us. As well as ICU specialists, Dr. Johan Klon and Dr. Holly Foster. We've got the neurologist on board, Dr. Ethan Sandberger. And then we've got numerous specific specialist physicians like looking at diabetes and the overall picture of the patient. So this gives us the so-called heart team that started and where we are now. We actually coined the term heart team in this hospital long before it became a buzzword in other hospitals and overseas, because we believe that you cannot perform if you are on your own. Now, I've mentioned a lot of things, but I haven't mentioned the most important part, and that is the backbone. That is the nursing staff. Because without them, we are totally and utterly lost. And the nursing staff is predominantly a female environment. So for me, as a male, to mention individual names and to leave out people's names, I will most probably be doomed.
No, don't say anybody.
Just a few names, but I cannot remember and I cannot mention any other names. So I'm totally free from any problem from that. Now, we know each other so well because we spend so many hours together, and they know us so well. You know, my children, when they were still small at school, would answer the telephone. The sisters had to say their name, and she even called Papa, Sister Adams, Papa Tariseki. You know, without they even identifying themselves. So we grew up with all the sisters. For most of us, this is a second home, or the second home. There are a couple of us here that this is most probably the first home, and the other one is the second home. That's neither here nor there. So I would like now to take you a little trip around memory lane, and I will tell you who was the first in every unit, as far as I can get the correct knowledge. In Ward O and P, it was Sister Liz Niederhaber and Sister Templeton. Today, Sister Estelle Murray, who's currently in Johannesburg, spoke to us this afternoon. In Ward R and Q, it was Dean de Toy, who married Dolly de Toy, so I don't know how the thing works because he's always here, but I don't know how that works. It's now Sandrine Visser and Jess Krogler in charge. In UNV, it was Estelle Murray, together with Antoinette van der Walt. Today is Tanya Kutsia and her team. In Ward W, recently opened, it is Joanne Root and her team. In the cath lab, it was Cecile Gerber and Marlene de Lange, who started it. It's now Liesel Lafancy and her team in charge. In the heart theatre, which of course is now where I know most people, we start off with Sister Gersbach as our chief, and today it's Sister Anna de Bruin holding the reins and keeping everyone together. But I have to mention a few names here. I have to mention the name of Annette Cook. We started off together in our first year when I specialized, and she was a nice young flippin'. I think when she got pregnant, I was just feel so responsible. And with her, Aruna Ackerman, and I have to mention Betty Fisage, Dr. Doctor. Right.
Yeah.
With her, it was Josie, but Josie's actually name is according to Renette Philadelphia, but that's how it works. And then, of course, our other people like Judy and Zitz and Diane, who's not with us anymore, Liz, Ursula, and those form our family that we spend our hours with. And that is the wonderful thing. We see each other and we can pick up all the ropes immediately. I also have to mention the Indian staff in the ICUs and in the theatre. They have been pivotal in keeping the boat
Afloat.
afloat and so forth. And I think we must be owed them a lot. Now, this is now the history of the unit. So what has happened over the last 30 years? Ek sal graag wil 'n klomp humoristische anekdotes wil vir jou vertel, maar ek het nou mooi gaan dink daaroor. Ek het rooi gepraat met Jacques gepraat, maar daar is so min wat gebeur het wat nie onder die belt is nie. Die beginsel, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, what happens in the cardiac unit stays in the cardiac unit. I think that applies definitely to life. In die begin was dit 'n wilde gemeste. Vra vir my, die jongste ook hierso, as nie vir eten gemaak, so goeie raad in my lewe was nie, as ek verloore. Dit was die wilde weste, die volk het gespat. Jy weet, baie woorde is gemaak, daar is baie kop gestap, letterlik en figuurlik. Al daai tipe dit gebeur, maar ons sal dit daarna laat. Maar daar is toch wel 'n paar idiosyncrasieë wat baie interessant is. Jy weet, as 'n jong man leer jy jou plek bitter vinnig, as 'n dekking oil.
Ja.
As ek in theater assisteer vir Johan, dan sê hulle rooi vir my, as Johan begin in vir klein woordjies praat, dan moet jy versigtig oppas. Maar as hy begin fluit, as hy cool hierdie kerk. As Live opereer en hy draai op en hy sê, I am Live, dan moet jy nek hoor. Wat die mens oor die jare alles leer. Now, 30 years now has passed. So, what has happened? Are we still the so-called center of excellence? And I think we are, because a lot of expertise happened in these 30 years. I'd like to mention a few. Number one, there's been quite an explosion, expansion of interventional cardiology. And we've got excellent interventionists here doing very good stents, also doing CTOs with Clive Corbett in charge there. There's also been an expanding in the second place of cardiac imaging with Peter Rousseau, as well as with some of our radiologist colleagues doing cardiac MRIs, the interpretation of MACs, all those things. Those are really expertise on the forefront. In the third place, ek skryf altyd leliker soos ek aangaan, so baie opening in 20, I think it was 20, just I've got the date here, of our electrophysiology center, marked a new era. Under the leadership of Racine Gopal, this became really a world standard situation. He's now joined by a colleague, his fellow, Dr. Sumanth Kamashant, and we look forward to expanding that field. I can speak by myself because my wife has had an ablation here, so I know exactly what's happened. I'm very impressed with that. And we welcome your colleague here. The main thing that I think has been a massive impact on Iran has been the establishment or the launching of the TAVI program a couple of years ago. Now, TAVI is the putting in of an aortic valve through the groin in a different population group that never had the chance or the opportunity to have surgery. And under the guidance and leadership of Dr. Jacques van Wyk, together with Helmut Weich, together with Lou Hofmeier, they have become not only the busiest centre in South Africa, but according to Edwards and Chronic, the benchmark hospital in the Southern Hemisphere. I think that that is such a great achievement. But I also think that that is the mark at the start of a new type of situation. Number one, the becoming closer of a surgeon and a cardiologist. Why should we fight? Why can't we join each other? That's the first instance. And the second instance is that the cardiac surgeon is going to be a different guy. In 20 years' time, Dr. Vogts will hopefully retire. He won't be a normal surgeon. He will be an endovascular surgeon, which I haven't got a clue what that entails because it develops every year. But I think that has put our expertise on a different level. In June 2017, the Hybrid Theatre that we wrote so many letters of was opened, and Dr. Diana Toy with currently his two fellows, Dr. Yadir Bachu and Dr. Estelle Lowe, joined him, and they became, as today, the busiest vascular unit in South Africa. They're in top class work. Let's put a new dimension to this whole unit. I think that the work that he's doing also combines with the work that we do, and that means that the handling of difficult aortic work and aortic arch work can now be done very easily, more easily, and the cases are more there. That's a new dimension for us. And then the expansion and the high quality of interventional pulmonology. That's a domain that was never here when I was done. I had the fortune to do all the bronchoscopies and all the meningioscopies. Now I do a meningioscopy perhaps once every 6 months, and that's been done by mostly by our pulmonologist, who was thrown and forced to do most of the interventional work. And that is a new dimension which is definitely going to expand. So we have now really developed into a cardiothoracic vascular unit by excellence. I think that's important. So now to conclude, that's just the last few words. What about the future? If you go to the Olympic Games and you win a gold medal, great, fantastic. But if you win a gold medal with the next Olympic Games 4 years later, you become a legend. So, if you want to become a legend of the Rama, we have to do a few certain things. Now there are many difficult challenges. NHI, the demographics. Germany is opening up a new cardiology unit, and the surgery theatre will probably follow. Finances, the massive nursing staff problem. Those are things that we face. When I went out of medical school, I was told by my senior professors, you go to private practice, there are 3 A's: availability, affability, and ability. I think that applies today for us. Availability. This hospital being forced with a relative bed shortage sends out, unfortunately, emails or SMSs rather, to say we are closed for updates. I understand that, but may that never happen. May that become something of the past, because how can we grow with all these things around us if we have that thing on an SMS? So I think we have to make a new dispensation, a new way of looking at our nursing staff, to make this the place to be, the place to work, and the place to be effectively compensated. This is not the meeting to discuss that. That is what I think. Affability. Yes, we've got to be friendly, but the main thing is the patient wants to be sorted out and he wants to feel safe. That's the main thing. Mediclinic Corporation now gave Mr. Bierman and his team 600 million rand to revamp this hospital in this coming of years. So that will make this place wonderful. There has been in my lifetime a paradigm shift from Mediclinic Corporation. I remember a meeting where I was a youngster sitting there in the hookey, and the head of Mediclinic said, Ons is nie hier om julle partyke op te pas nie. You remember that, Johan? And now we work together. They look after us and we look after them. It's a veto right to get people in here. That's the highest standard. And I think with that we can have an affable place. And the last thing is ability. We are definitely not more clever than the special physician in another hospital. But if we can combine in teams, then we have the edge. And Ian Mark's here. So I hope that that will be expanded and that we can leave personal confrontations and things in the past and work together for that, because that will distinguish us from our surroundings. So what do we want to end this thing for the future? What do we want for our units? I think we want to set with excellence. I think we want the highest level of expertise, old expertise to carry on doing the run-of-the-mill work, but also to go to the forefront of new work. Hopefully, Jacques Van Wyk will be the first guy to put in a TAVI or a cardiac thing in the mitral valve. That will be what we should be. And then safety and patient satisfaction. And then to be, as I said, I envisage a type of a Mayo Clinic for this hospital, where the patient comes in and he has been sorted out from A to Z. And we have in the same light a queue of qualified specialists who would like to come to this hospital and work as fellows. Then I think we have arrived.
Thank you.